Hi everyone, welcome to Ready 205, Introduction to Project Management. In this course, I'm going to give you just enough knowledge and tools to not be completely overwhelmed the first time you are assigned to work on a project. This is not intended to turn you into a full-time project manager, and there are no project management questions on your PARCA certification exam. This course is just to help you understand the project management process. So let's talk about the fundamentals of project management. Project management is a set of tools, templates, and processes designed to answer the following 6 questions. What business situation is being addressed by this project? What do you need to do? What will you do? How will you do it? How will you know you did it? And how well did you do it? So let's go back to those 6 and give you a more common sense, real world explanation. So it's what process or product are you trying to improve by doing this project? What are all the things you need to do to complete the project? What part of the project do you personally have to accomplish? And generally your first reaction to this one will be, well, I got no idea how I'm supposed to do this, but you need to figure out how to accomplish your part of the project. And what is the end point? Remember, a project doesn't go on forever and has a definite end. And what is the project evaluation criteria? So let's talk about the definition of project management. So the book defines project management as project management is an organized common sense approach that utilizes the appropriate client involvement in order to deliver client requirements that meet expected incremental business value. Let's put that in some more common sense terms. So this is my definition of project management. Project management is managing a project utilizing the human and financial resources allocated to the project to achieve the desired outcome as stated in the project goal statement. So basically it means the project manager is given money and people to put towards the project goal, and project management is applying those resources and guiding the project to a successful outcome. And of course there are challenges to effective project management: flexibility and adaptability, deep understanding of the business and its systems, and being able to take charge of the project and its management. So a project evolves over the course of its life cycle. I would say the biggest factor in project success is how well the team is able to roll with the inevitable deviations from the original project path. And the project manager and the project team need to have the highest level of understanding possible that they can have of what they're trying to accomplish and how it affects the organization. Coal miners make terrible ship captains, so it's important that everybody understands the business and how the business works. At the end of the day, the project manager is ultimately responsible for the success or failure of the project, and they'll have to make some tough decisions and act decisively at times. And I love this statement. Always remember that project management is organized common sense. If it doesn't make sense, don't do it. The project goal. It identifies the desired outcome of your project. The project goal should explain the outcome you hope to achieve by doing this project. Something like the PACS upgrade project will successfully transition the organization from Fuji Synapse PACS to Agfa Enterprise Imaging PACS, resulting in improved patient safety and quicker turnaround times. It should have measurable outcomes. Having measurable outcomes is critically important to understanding why you are doing a project and how to measure the success of the project. If I said the project goal is to upgrade the existing Synapse system to the Agfa Enterprise Imaging system, does that tell you why the organization is doing the project? That statement indicates that the desired outcome is just to move from Fuji Synapse to Agfa Enterprise PACS, and when that's completed, the project is completed. It doesn't define what benefits the organization hopes to get from doing the project. And your project goals should be evaluated against your project outcomes. So obviously, once you have a good, well-defined project goal with measurable outcomes, when you complete the project, you want to measure what the project yielded against what you set out to accomplish. So let's go back to the original project goal of the PACS upgrade project will successfully transition the organization from Fuji Synapse PACS to Agfa Enterprise Imaging PACS, resulting in improved patient safety and quicker turnaround times. The measures are obviously improved patient safety and turnaround time. So one of the first tasks for the project would be to measure patient safety incidents and turnaround time with the old system, and when the project is completed, measure those two things again with the new system running. And for something like turnaround time, you may need to measure it again after the system has been up for 6 months, 9 months, something like that, and everyone's gotten comfortable working in it to get an accurate result. But I've digressed. My point is you need to have measurable outcomes to evaluate the success or failure of your project. Let's talk about project scope. Project scope articulates what the project entails so everyone understands what is involved, helps team members focus on common objectives, and defines project boundaries to keep the project from expanding beyond the established vision. So the project scope is a list of tasks that need to be completed to achieve the project objectives. If there's a task that seems like it should be in the project, but you're not sure if you should do it or not, you can look at the scope document and see if it's part of the project or not. I think the next slide will give us a visual representation of scope. So everything inside the red circle is in scope for this project. It would contain tasks related to the project goals and project outcomes. Other tasks that are outside the red circle are not in the project scope, and the project team members do not need to be concerned with those tasks that are outside the circle. So you just want to focus on everything that's inside the circle. That's the scope. And you have to manage the creeps. So the first creep is scope creep. A project that has a lot of valuable resources allocated to it may have a highly effective work group of talented people, and organizational leaders and sometimes members of the project team will see this as an opportunity to add in another task, objective, or goal that's not part of the original vision. It's important that the project manager identify this as the scope of the project growing bigger and wider and try to stop it. So that's scope creep, when other things that were on the outside of the red circle start to creep inside the red circle. Next, you have hope creep. Hope creep is when a team member gets behind on their tasks and reports that they are on schedule and then hopes to get caught up by the next check-in date. People about themselves, they don't want to say, hey, I didn't get that done. So they, let's say the project meets every 2 weeks. They fudge and say, I'm working on that, it's almost done. And then they hope to get caught up, and usually they just get further and further behind until they have to tell the project manager that, well, they're not getting anything done. Effort creep. Effort creep is when the effort to complete a task has been underestimated, or the task has been over-engineered. It's when you thought a task would take a week to complete, and then when you started doing the task, you realize it's way more complicated than you thought it would be, and it's going to take you 2 or 3 weeks, or you're trying to make something perfect. And sometimes you just got to make something good enough and keep the project going forward, but you want to make it perfect, and you're putting way more effort than you need to in it. And the last creep, and it's very important for things like PACS and risk systems, is feature creep. Feature creep is when in the course of a project like upgrading a PACS system, a new feature for that system becomes available and people get excited and they want to add that into the project. And this is something that happens a lot in projects in radiology informatics. And so any new feature that comes out should be carefully evaluated for risk before adding it to an ongoing project. Speaking of risk, let's talk about risk. Risk is an uncertain event or condition that, if it occurs, has a positive or negative effect on one or more project objectives. Risk can be positive or negative, and all risk needs to be managed. So it's important to understand that risk is an uncertain event, and don't confuse that with an unknown event. An unknown event is something you didn't know could possibly happen. An uncertain event is something that is known, but you can't predict whether it will occur or it won't occur. Most people assume risks are all negative, but in fact, a risk can have a positive outcome. For example, if the project is to build a new PACS system and the servers get delivered 2 weeks early, that can move up your timeline or give you a couple extra weeks of testing that you maybe didn't have. And these are positive things, but it wasn't an expected event. So, because risks are known events with unknown certainty of occurrence or timing, you can take steps to manage those risks. So in project risk management, the 3 keys are identifying the risks, determining what the chances are of each risk occurring, and taking steps to mitigate the risk. So first, you need to identify all the possible risks to your project. Then you want to organize the risks into 4 groups. First, you want risks that have a high chance of occurring and a high impact to the project. Second, you want risks that have a high chance of occurring but a low impact to the project. Third are risks with a low chance of occurring but a high impact to the project. And finally, risks that are low chance and low impact. So basically, you want to prioritize them by how likely they are to happen and how much they're going to affect what you're trying to accomplish. And then lastly, once you have the risk prioritized, you want to see what contingency plans you can develop to quickly take action should a risk occur. By preparing for the risks, you won't be surprised or panicked when they happen. So I could go way deeper into risk management, but this is getting long already, so thank you for watching.